Hey guys, what's up? So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about Project Morpheus, about VR in general, because just last week at Tokyo Game Show, we got quite a few of additional and new information from Sony about Project Morpheus, and the first big one that you probably heard about by now is that it will now be officially called PlayStation VR. Now, I find that quite funny because as someone who works in design and marketing, it's actually ridiculous how probably 20 people were brainstorming over names for this device for 8 months and then they call it PlayStation VR. But nonetheless, I guess it delivers what it promises. They have also hinted at a price for the device, but I'm gonna get into that a bit later. First, I want to go through other details that have now been confirmed and surfaced. The device will be powered by PlayStation 4, so that means that the content is created on the PlayStation 4 and then streamed to your device. However, it's not a wireless device like, for instance, Samsung's Gear VR is, but I think that's a good thing, and again, I'm going to get into that at a later point in time. They're going to launch the device in 2016, and it will use the existing PlayStation Move controllers, which I think is good because finally there is like a purpose for motion controls. Like, it actually really makes sense, and I'm wondering whether this will actually kind of bring back a renaissance or like a comeback of motion controls, because finally we can really use them. And then one little detail that I found particularly interesting is that while they don't have normal headphones that are built into the PlayStation VR/Morpheus headset, they have integrated a bone conducting headphone into the headband. So we've seen that before. There is a project on Kickstarter as well. I can't recall the name right now, but basically the sound is brought into your inner ear by using the vibrations of your bone, your skull bone. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if it really works, but it's certainly an interesting point. But who knows, maybe it's more like an excuse that they push forward because they don't have headphones attached to it. And they're like, yeah, but we have this thing. Remains to be seen, how good it actually works. In an interview with Bloomberg conducted at Tokyo Game Show's keynote, Sony Entertainment Chief Executive Officer Andrew House revealed that the company's first headset will be priced as a new gaming platform. Right? So they didn't give away a concrete price. They only said priced as a new gaming platform. Now, right now, the PS4 retails at around £300. However, when it was launched, it retailed at around $349. So the price of Morpheus or PlayStation VR will probably be in between £300 to £350. Now, on itself, that sounds expensive because I think people who play on consoles, obviously not all of them, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes here, but a lot of people that I know, they play on consoles because they don't want to invest $1,000 or like something close to that into a high-end gaming PC. They want a convenient, relatively cheap box that they can put under their TV. So are these people really going to spend another potentially £350 on a gadget like this? I kind of have my doubts. However, that price tag still seems quite reasonable if you compare it to the one of the Oculus Rift. I don't know if you remember, but I made a video about this a while ago. I'll link that down in the description if you want more information on it. But basically, Oculus Rift announced that if you spend £1,500, you will get a powerful PC that is coupled with Oculus Rift, and the PC will cost less than $1,000. And that prices Oculus Rift at around $500, maybe $600, something along those lines. So compared to $500 to $600, £300 to £350 are still kind of affordable. But to be honest, I think you also have to put into perspective the quality of the actual product. Like, just last week I had a chance to try Gear VR, Samsung's VR headset. That retails together with the phone at around $500 as well, so it's rather expensive. And to be honest, it was an absolutely terrible experience. The latency was not good. It had a great resolution because I think the Note 3, which I think is the phone that you have to buy to use with the Gear VR, has an incredible resolution. So the image that you look at is rather sharp, but they didn't optimize the lenses very well, so the 3D effect was less finished. Even then with the DK1 that I had the chance to try, the Oculus DK1, I mean, the resolution in that was terrible, but at least the 3D effect was absolutely spot on, and you put it on and it completely blew your mind. And trying Gear VR was rather disappointing. Also, you didn't have a full 180-degree experience, so you did see some tiny bit of black lines around the screen, and it really took away from the immersion. Gear VR is a wireless device, so everything that you see on screen has to be calculated on the phone. Now that's not a problem with Project Morpheus or PlayStation VR. However, the point that I'm trying to make is maybe people are more willing to spend $500 on something that is really, really finished rather than $300 to $350 on something that is just mediocre, because I have never seen someone who tried Project Morpheus and then after him trying it, putting a video on YouTube saying it's absolutely amazing. It's like mind-blowing and the finish of the product is just awesome. I haven't seen that. Maybe you have. You can share that video. But I have seen loads of people who do that with the recent Oculus Rift prototypes, right? Like Oculus Rift Crescent Bay or whatever the name is, the latest prototype. People say it is finished to an extent that is just mind-blowing. So I think we just have to put in perspective the quality and the finish of the product. And then I just like to mention once again that there is still no content. However, in an interview, Dennis Castleman, who's like a hardware research and development engineer at Sony Computer Entertainment, said that in our case, the hardware is ready to go right now. We're just waiting for the game titles to catch up with the hardware. So I think Sony really wants to wait until they get a strong lineup that they can launch with the device. However, I still have a feeling that it's not going to live up to the expectations, because we've seen quite nice games that are tailored to VR in the past, like Eve Valkyrie or Riggs, right? That was shown at E3, like a mech battle arena game. I'm sure they're going to have apps like where you can watch, movies in the cinema and stuff like this. But so far, I just haven't seen the killer app. I want to see the game that I look at on screen and I'm like, fuck man, I need to play this in VR, because that's the only way you can really experience it. And I haven't seen it, and I personally have my doubts that they will be able to come up with that, because in a nutshell, it just requires an absolute killer idea, right? You need an idea how you can use this device and absolutely maximize the benefits. Now, I don't have doubts that in the next 5 to 10 years someone will come up with that, but with the launch in 2016, I think they've got a lot of pressure and they just really need to come up with that killer idea, and I have my doubts that they will do that, because even on Oculus there are so many people working with the development kits and so many creative brains that put their energy into it, and so far on none of these platforms I have seen an absolute killer app that would justify this device, or a price tag of $350 to $600 for a device like that. So guys, it would be really interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that Sony's PlayStation VR with a price tag of £300 to £350 is competitive? Will people buy that? Do you think that PlayStation gamers are willing to spend that amount of money on a gadget like that just so they can play the few titles that are out there in VR? Or do you actually think that Sony will come up with such a strong lineup that people can't do anything but buy PlayStation VR? Leave all your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you can leave me a like, you can subscribe to my channel if you not have yet done that. Otherwise guys, take care and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Bye.